Birthday cards happen so many times a year, so I like to have a kind of a go-to formula, and with this new Hero Arts birthday cake stamp, it's perfect for absolutely anybody, because what we can do is change the colors and kind of change the style of stamping to customize it to the recipient. So today what I'm going to be doing, we're going to be doing some watercolor fun here, and we're going to make a card like this one here. Now, as you can see, we can change the colors that we use, and here's some that I've gotten started as well. Whether it's pink, purple, blue, green, I mean, absolutely any color you want, we can change it, which is nice because then we don't have to be limited by, you know, a certain style or certain color. We can go wild with this cake, and it's a lot of fun. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some embossing ink on my stamp, and I'm going to place it towards the bottom. I want to leave a little more space at the top of my watercolor cardstock. And we're on watercolor cardstock because we want to be able to do some coloring fun. So that's going to be our best bet. And put on some white embossing powder today and shake off the extra. Give it a little gentle little tap. And if you see any excess, you can always just either brush it away with your finger or with a dry paintbrush will work as well. And of course, put our excess dry powder away and put the lid on so that we do not spill. And go ahead and heat set this. And once the entire image is heat set, we are ready to work. And I love white on white for this as my standard basic because then I can work with whatever color mediums I want. In fact, I can even mix and match. So I am going to take some Prima watercolors here, and I'm going to take this beautiful blue color and I'm going to load up my paintbrush and put it over here onto my mat because that's not quite the color of blue that I would like. So I'm going to take some Distress ink. This is Blueprint Sketch, and I'm going to mix the two together. Most watercolor mediums or mediums that you're able to do watercolor-like effects, you can mix them and match them, whether it's pan watercolors or maybe it's sprays or even Distress inks. And I absolutely love that because it lets me get so much more out of my supplies. Now with my new color here, I'm going to loosely paint a couple of areas of my cake with this darker color. And then I'll get a different color going for the other accents. This time I'm going to go with peacock feathers. And I'll add a little bit of this green, and we'll see what those two together make us. Oh, that's really nice. So if I need a little more of one or the other, I can just add a little more color off to the side. The thing to remember is just to not mix them onto the ink pad itself, onto the watercolor itself. Do it in a neutral location so that you're not messing up any of your actual mediums. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this here and also here. And we can always go back in and add more color. So if you feel like you need a little more, you can certainly do that. But don't worry about getting things just right because we're going to spray this down with water. So when we do that, everything goes flying around anyway. And then I'm going to take a bit of the orange here and just get it loaded up on my brush. You could certainly work with a water brush if you would like. And then I'm going to go with Mustard Seed Distress and mix those together. If I need a little more water, that's fine too. I love doing kind of an orangey yellow up here on the sparkles for our cake. This is such a fun cake. And what I am doing here is just going all around because I want it to show up around where those are. Next up here, we're going to hold it down so that it doesn't buckle up, and we are going to spray it with some water. I like to spray it a little bit close and then maybe get in a little farther away, but kind of mix and match, sometimes a little closer, sometimes a little farther. And I also like to let it dry just a bit between applications. So like I'm kind of happy with it where it is right now, but I'm not totally sure. So by letting it dry a bit, we can still spray it and get more reaction if needed. But by letting it dry a bit, we're going to get a better sense of exactly how it's going to look. The other thing that this is going to do too is going to help keep it from buckling up too much with too much water. It will straighten back out. You don't have to worry about that. But I always find that it's a good idea to just kind of give that paper a moment to chill. So I would like a little more on that side and a little more down there. And I can either dry this again, or I can get either a paper towel, wipe something else, and dab off a little bit of the excess. And that's what I'm going to do in this case. I'm going to dab off a little bit up here. It was just a little more harsh than what I wanted for this. And once you are happy with everything, you are ready to move on to the next step. Now, for me, the next step is going to be to add some sparkle and shine to this. I have the Dylusions Vibrant Turquoise Mica Spray here. And this is a great color for any blues or greens. It's going to add a little bit of sparkle, but it's also going to add just the tiniest bit of color. And usually only 1 or 2 squirts will work, but I felt like this one needed just a little bit more. And another way, of course, if you want more color or more pigment, you can go with one of the Heidi Swapp sprays, like the gold one here that I love to use. And we can spray it on there, and if you leave it as it is, you know, it'll be a little more clear dots. If you add a little water, it will spread out. So that'll be up to you and definitely your card and what look you're going for there. And we will want to let it totally dry so that we don't accidentally put our fingers into wet mediums as we assemble this card. Before we assemble this card, I'm going to take my Tim Holtz ruler and I am going to tear the edges. This has a metal bar on the one side that makes it great to tear. And I'm just going to pull my cardstock towards me and repeat on the other side. I just love this little bit of detail. You don't have to do a torn edge. I just think it adds a lot of fun detail without adding any bulk or any weight to your card. This is definitely one that is very friendly to set into the mail. It's not going to have a lot of lumpy elements or heavy things, not going to require any extra postage. So once we are happy with that, we have our card here, and I picked a really vibrant color of cardstock so that it's really going to pop, and the white of the watercolor paper is really going to stand out. Just going to place it on here like so. And so we can add a sentiment. If you have a stamp that you like, that would be great. If you have stickers, that's great too. I know I've got some that I've been using here, some Tim Holtz ones, and there are some really nice birthday ones. I like to put a couple of them on here. So I'm going to put happy birthday to you. And I like to set it so that part is on the background and part is on the watercolor paper. I feel like that just ties everything together beautifully, as you can see. So just to show you again the variations, this is the original card like we made. Here's a couple that I started in pink and in purple. So you could do a single color or you could do multiple colors as we have here. And here's one where I made it smaller, I made it a square, and I added a couple of dimensional elements such as sequins and beads just to add another little bit of detail. Whether you go simple or a little fancier, bulky, or keep it nice and mail friendly, I hope I've inspired you to mail a couple more birthday cards this year.